Did you know that some foods, which many people consider normal or even healthy, could be sabotaging your blood sugar control and putting your health at risk? Imagine this. You're doing everything right, trying to keep your diet balanced, but a simple mistake in food choices could cause your blood sugar to spike, leaving you feeling tired, low on energy, and worried about potential complications in the future. In this video, I'm going to show you the 12 worst foods you should avoid to keep your blood sugar in check and prevent long-term complications. Don't worry, the solution is within your reach. With small changes and smart choices, you'll learn how to keep your blood sugar balanced and still eat delicious meals without sacrificing flavor. The solution is here, and it may be simpler than you think. Don't let food control you. Take charge of your health. Together, let's discover what's really behind every plate and how to make healthier choices. Because, in the end, taking care of yourself is the best decision you can make right now. But before we continue, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I'll be bringing you a series of videos that will help you manage your diabetes and regain your health. Let's get started. 1. White and refined breads. White bread is a favorite for many due to its soft texture and mild flavor, but it can be one of the biggest culprits in causing blood sugar spikes. This happens because it's made from refined flour, which means the outer layers and germ of the grain are removed during processing. As a result, the wheat loses its fibers, vitamins, and minerals essential for health. The result? A simple carbohydrate that, when consumed, is quickly digested and turned into glucose in the blood. This glucose rises quickly, causing blood sugar spikes. For those with diabetes or those trying to control blood sugar levels, these spikes can be harmful because they require more insulin to balance the sugar in the body. Additionally, these spikes can increase the risk of long-term complications such as heart problems and nerve damage. The worst part is that, unlike other foods, white bread lacks fiber, which is essential for slowing down sugar absorption and helping maintain more stable blood sugar levels. So, instead of white and refined breads, the better choice is whole grain breads made from whole wheat flour. These breads contain more fiber, which helps control the release of glucose into the bloodstream in a slower, more stable manner, avoiding those sugar spikes. Remember, being mindful of what you eat is a powerful way to maintain your health and control your blood sugar. Choosing whole grain breads can be a big step in the right direction. 2. White rice. White rice is a super common food in many dishes, but it can also be one of the major culprits for causing blood sugar spikes. This is because, just like white bread, white rice goes through a refining process where the outer layers and germ of the grain are removed. What's left is rice with little to no fiber, causing it to be quickly digested and absorbed by our body. This process leads to a rapid increase in blood sugar levels. When we consume white rice, it enters our body and is converted into glucose very quickly. This rise in glucose in the blood requires more insulin production, which can be problematic for those with diabetes or insulin resistance. And to make matters worse, this type of rice has a high glycemic index, meaning it causes quick glucose spikes, which are not ideal for those trying to manage diabetes. The good news is there are healthier alternatives. Brown rice, for example, retains the outer layers and germ of the grain, preserving its fiber and nutrients. This makes brown rice digested more slowly, helping to keep blood sugar levels stable and avoiding rapid spikes. So, whenever possible, swap white rice for brown rice. It's not only healthier, but it will also help keep your blood sugar balanced and promote a feeling of fullness for longer. I know how difficult it can be to choose the right meals to control blood sugar, especially with so many options out there. But what if you had a simple, practical guide full of delicious recipes tailored for diabetics? With Smart Eating, the nutritional guide for diabetics, you'll have the support you need to plan your meals from breakfast to desserts with ingredients that help maintain stable blood sugar levels. Want to transform your diet and start managing your blood sugar in a simple, tasty way? Download the guide now by clicking the link in the first pinned comment below the video. 3. White potato. White potato is one of the most consumed foods on a daily basis, whether mashed, fried, or baked, but it can cause a significant increase in blood glucose levels. Although it is rich in carbohydrates, white potato has a high glycemic index, which means it is quickly converted into glucose in the body, leading to blood sugar spikes. This happens because, like white rice and white bread, white potatoes are made from refined starch, which is digested quickly by our body. This rapid increase in glucose levels can be especially problematic for people with diabetes, as it requires more insulin to control the amount of sugar in the blood. Additionally, this glucose spike may be followed by a sharp drop, causing feelings of fatigue and hunger earlier, creating a cycle of fluctuations in sugar levels. A good alternative is to replace white potatoes with sweet potatoes or other types of tubers like yam or cassava. Sweet potatoes, for example, have a lower glycemic index and are rich in fiber, which helps to control the gradual release of glucose into the blood. This results in fewer glucose spikes and helps to maintain more balanced levels, benefiting glycemic control. So, if you love potatoes, try making this simple swap and still enjoy the flavor, but with much more health benefits. For soft drinks and processed juices. Soft drinks and processed juices might seem like a refreshing and tasty choice, but they are major enemies for those trying to control blood glucose. The main reason is that these products contain large amounts of refined sugar or high fructose corn syrup, a type of sugar that is rapidly absorbed by the body. This causes blood glucose levels to rise quickly after consumption, generating spikes. These glucose spikes are problematic, especially for people with diabetes, because they require a higher insulin production to try to balance the sugar levels. Over time, this can overwhelm the pancreas and make glycemic control more difficult, as well as increase the risk of long-term complications like cardiovascular problems and nerve damage. Additionally, soft drinks and processed juices offer no significant nutritional value. They are full of empty calories, meaning they lack vitamins, minerals, or fiber that could help control glucose or improve overall health. A much healthier alternative is natural drinks like water, unsweetened tea, or even homemade natural juices without added sugar. By consuming more natural beverages, you avoid glucose spikes and give your body a break, keeping your health in check. Avoiding these processed drinks is a smart choice for those looking to maintain control over their blood glucose levels and improve overall health. 5. Sugary sweets and desserts. Who doesn't love a sweet treat now and then, right? But it's important to know that sugary sweets and desserts can be some of the biggest villains for people with diabetes. This happens because these foods are loaded with refined sugars, which are quickly absorbed by the body, causing a rapid and significant increase in blood glucose. Moreover, these sweets don't offer important nutrients like vitamins, fiber, or protein. They're just sources of empty calories, which provide energy but do not help with blood sugar control. This abrupt increase in glucose requires a large amount of insulin to try to balance the sugar levels in the body, which can be harmful, especially for those already struggling with insulin control. The best way to avoid these spikes is to look for healthier alternatives to sweeten your desserts. Fresh fruits like strawberries, apples, or peaches are excellent choices, as they are naturally sweet and rich in fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants, which help control glucose. For dessert recipes, you can use natural sweeteners like stevia or xylitol, which don't cause increases in blood glucose. So, next time you crave something sweet, try a fruit or a healthy dessert. Your body and your glycemic control will thank you. 6. Fast food and ultra-processed foods. Fast food and ultra-processed foods are highly tempting due to their convenience and taste, but unfortunately, they're not good allies for those who need to control blood glucose. These foods are packed with refined carbohydrates, saturated fats, sodium, and chemical additives, which can cause several health issues, including rapid increases in glucose. What happens is that these foods are digested very quickly, causing blood sugar to rise sharply. Additionally, the excess saturated fat in these products can impair insulin sensitivity, making it even harder to control glucose. This type of diet can also lead to weight gain, which worsens insulin resistance and increases the risk of long-term complications like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Even though fast food is convenient and tasty, it's important to avoid or reduce the consumption of these foods. Instead, opt for homemade meals made with fresh, natural ingredients. You can prepare healthy meals that include lean proteins, whole grains, vegetables, and fruits, helping to keep your glucose levels balanced and your health in check. So, whenever hunger strikes and temptation appears, remember the benefits of a healthy diet and avoid ultra-processed foods. Your body will thank you, and you'll be taking better care of your blood sugar. 7. Pasta with white flour. Pasta made with white flour, like regular pasta, is one of the foods that can significantly impact blood glucose levels. This happens because, like white bread, white flour is highly refined. During the refining process, most of the fiber and nutrients from the grain are removed, leaving only starch, which is digested quickly by our body. When we eat pasta with white flour, the starch is rapidly turned into glucose. This quick increase in glucose in the blood demands an immediate insulin response to try to balance sugar levels. For those with diabetes, this can be a major challenge, as the body may have difficulty handling these spikes. Furthermore, pasta with refined flour has a high glycemic index, which means it causes higher and faster glucose spikes. This effect can lead to fluctuations in blood sugar levels, increasing feelings of hunger and making you feel tired and low on energy. A much healthier alternative is to choose whole wheat pasta, made with whole wheat flour. These pastas retain the fiber and other nutrients from the grain, making digestion slower and glucose being released into the blood more gradually. This helps keep glucose levels more stable and reduces rapid spikes. So, next time you prepare a pasta meal, choose the whole wheat version to give your body what it needs in a healthier and more balanced way. 8. Bakery products. Bakery products like cakes, donuts, croissants, and other items made with refined flours and large amounts of sugar can be one of the biggest villains in blood glucose control. These foods, while delicious, are loaded with simple carbohydrates and refined sugars, which quickly enter the bloodstream and cause glucose spikes. The combination of sugar and white flour in these recipes results in a very rapid increase in glucose levels, which is not ideal for those trying to maintain glycemic control. Additionally, many of these products contain saturated and trans fats, which are harmful to heart health and can worsen insulin resistance, making glucose control even more challenging. Frequent consumption of these foods can lead to weight gain and increase the risk of complications associated with diabetes, such as cardiovascular disease and kidney problems. A healthier way to satisfy a bakery craving is to opt for homemade recipes made with whole wheat flour, natural sweeteners like honey or stevia, and minimal saturated fat. Using fruits as ingredients can also be a good way to sweeten naturally without adding refined sugar. Another option is banana or carrot cakes and breads, which have less impact on blood glucose. So, instead of buying an industrialized or bakery sweet, how about try and make a healthier version at home? This will help keep your blood glucose balanced while still satisfying your sweet craving. 9. Sweetened breakfast cereals. Sweetened breakfast cereals are a popular option for breakfast, but unfortunately, they can be a big problem for those with diabetes or those needing to control blood glucose levels. These cereals are often loaded with refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, which means they quickly turn into glucose once consumed. This rapid increase in glucose requires an immediate insulin response, and for those struggling to control sugar levels, it can lead to harmful glucose spikes. In addition to sugars, many sweetened breakfast cereals also contain artificial colorings and preservatives, which are not beneficial to health and may contribute to inflammation in the body. The problem is that, even though these cereals may seem like a convenient and healthy option, they often provide little nutritional value, offering few fibers and essential nutrients. A much better alternative is to choose whole grain cereals without added sugars, such as oatmeal, quinoa, or unsweetened granola. These cereals are rich in fiber, which helps to control the release of glucose into the bloodstream more gradually. You can also add fresh fruits like strawberries, apples, or blueberries for a touch of natural sweetness without overwhelming your blood glucose. So, when shopping, pay attention to labels and avoid breakfast cereals loaded with sugar. Your body and glucose levels will thank you. 10. Fried foods. Fried foods, such as French fries, chips, and nuggets, are extremely popular, but definitely not good for those needing to control blood glucose levels. In addition to being high in saturated and trans fats, they have a high glycemic index, which means they are quickly converted into glucose in the body, causing a rapid increase in blood sugar. The problem with fried foods is not only the sugar, but also the fact that they contain trans fats, which can harm insulin sensitivity. This makes glucose control even more difficult because the body becomes less efficient at using insulin to regulate blood sugar. Additionally, these unhealthy fats increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, a common problem among people with diabetes. Another point is that when eating fried foods, you're consuming a large amount of calories without obtaining important nutrients like vitamins and minerals. This empty calorie consumption can lead to weight gain, which further complicates diabetes control. A healthy alternative is to opt for baked or grilled foods, such as roasted potatoes with natural seasonings, or choose healthy snacks like nuts, seeds, or even raw vegetables. These options are rich in fiber and nutrients and have a much smaller impact on glucose levels. Avoiding fried foods is a smart choice for keeping glucose under control and ensuring a more balanced and nutritious diet. 11. Honey and syrups. Although honey is natural and often considered a healthy option, it can be problematic for those with diabetes or needing to control blood glucose levels. Honey contains high amounts of simple sugars like fructose and glucose, which are rapidly absorbed by the body. This causes a quick rise in blood glucose levels, which can be hard to control, especially if you already have insulin resistance. Syrups like corn syrup, agave syrup, and other liquid sweeteners have the same effect. Despite often being marketed as healthier alternatives to refined sugar, they have a high glycemic index, meaning they rapidly and drastically increase blood glucose levels. Although honey has some benefits, such as antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, it can still cause glucose spikes, which can be risky for diabetics. The key is moderation. If you choose to use honey or syrups, it's best to do so in small amounts and preferably in recipes that help reduce the glycemic impact, such as using fiber-rich ingredients. To replace honey or syrups more safely, you can opt for natural sweeteners that don't increase glucose levels as quickly, such as stevia or xylitol. These options are safe for diabetics and don't affect blood sugar levels. So, when choosing sweeteners, always look for alternatives that are more suitable for glycemic control and avoid excess, even when it comes to natural options like honey. 12. Very sweet fruits. Fruits are an important part of a healthy diet, but some, especially the sweeter ones, can cause blood glucose levels to rise more quickly than others. Fruits like ripe bananas, grapes, mangoes, and watermelon have a high natural sugar content, which can lead to glucose spikes if consumed in large quantities or alone, without other foods to help balance the sugar absorption. These fruits, while rich in vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants, have a higher glycemic index, meaning the glucose they contain is released quickly into the bloodstream. This rapid increase in glucose requires more insulin to try to balance blood sugar levels, which can be challenging for those already having insulin issues. This doesn't mean you should completely eliminate these fruits from your diet, but rather consume them in moderation. A good tip is to combine these fruits with fiber or protein-rich foods like nuts, unsweetened Greek yogurt, or a slice of avocado. This can help slow down glucose absorption, making the fruit more friendly for glucose control. If your goal is to better control glucose, prefer fruits with a low glycemic index, such as apples, pears, strawberries, peaches, and cherries. These fruits release glucose more slowly into the bloodstream, helping to keep sugar levels more stable. When including sweet fruits in your diet, always remember to make balanced and moderate choices so you can enjoy their benefits without compromising glucose control. Now that you know the 12 worst foods for diabetics and the impact they can have on glucose levels, it's time to make more informed decisions and protect your health. Remember, small changes in your diet can make a big difference in controlling blood sugar and improving your quality of life. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these foods did you eat without knowing the risks? Comment below, share your experience, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any important content like this. Until the next video, and remember, your health is in your hands.